And we're back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Roll School. My name's Nathaniel. I'm the host here of the channel, and today we are actually bringing you guys some Magic. If you guys have seen our most recent Magic video, it was rough because we were talking about how difficult it's been to enjoy the game and some of the struggles we've been having with it really being like a priority in our playing and whatnot. But today we are excited. I told you guys I would be still giving it a chance, and one of the things that I am giving it a chance on is Secrets of Strixhaven. So very excited for this set. Very excited that this set comes out at a time where hopefully I'm a little less busy because I am done with soccer now. The soccer season went pretty great. The boys finished 4th in the area, so that's certainly nothing to scoff at. And yeah, so I wanted to quickly jump into the archetypes before we get into multicolored colorless cards, and then we will be going white, blue, black, red, green, all the way up to pre-release day. I will be reviewing all of the cards in the draft set, and I will be reviewing them from a limited perspective, which means I'm not going to talk, I might briefly mention like, oh, that's so powerful in Commander, but I'm not grading them on other formats. I'm grading them on, do I think this is powerful in Limited? So because we're starting with multicolor and colorless, we need to know the color combinations. So here we have Golgari, which is Repartee Aggro. Inspire your creatures with words of affirmation or hurl cutting critiques at your enemies. Either way, get rewarded for casting targeted spells while you press the attack. Then we have Prismari, which is it? Yep, it's hard without the colors there, but that's blue and red. Opus spellcasting. Load up your deck with instants and sorceries and paint the battlefield red and blue. Fire off cheap spells or get a show-stopping bonus from spending 5 or more mana on your Opus. Witherbloom, Life Gain Swarm, which is Golgari. Build up an army of pests and other creatures to gain lots of life and overwhelm your opponents. Steady life gain will also infuse your spells with boosted effects. Then down here, we have Lorehold, Flashback Excavation. This is Boros. Fill your graveyard and then dig it back up again. In Boros? Sure. When cards leave your graveyard, you'll uncover the power of history making plays. And then we have Quandrix, which is Simic. Incremental value. Grow your creatures with counters as you cast bigger and bigger spells. Accelerate your mana. Draw cards and attack with huge creatures. Math isn't just for blockers here. I love it. Simic is always fun. So let's jump into the cards. As always, before we get into the actual meat of the video, if you enjoy this, like, comment, subscribe, any and all, it's greatly appreciated. I promised I'd give Magic a chance. It's been not our favorite hobby for a little while now, but you know what? We're back in Universe. We're back in something that at least feels like Magic. Strixhaven might not be my favorite set of all time, but here we go. All right. Abigail, Poet Laureate. Something like that, Laureate. I know the word, I just don't remember how to pronounce it. Anyways, 3 mana, 2/3 flyer, already solid. Whenever you cast a creature spell, Abigail becomes prepared. While it's prepared, you may cast a copy of its spell. Doing so unprepares it. Of its spell. While it's prepared, you may cast a copy of its spell. Does that mean a copy of her or a copy of the heroic stanza? I don't know. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. I'm going to say its spell. It's this. Okay. Consolator's Duelist. 2 white, 2 black. Pretty hard to cast. Rare, 4/3. Whenever this creature enters, draw a card. Each player loses 1 life. Fine. Repartee, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, exile up to 1 target creature. Return that creature card to the battlefield on turn to control at the beginning of the end step. If you have good enough ETB like flash effects, this is fine. Oh, I needed to rate. This is fine. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. I think this one's also just fine. This could be pretty hard to pull off. I haven't seen enough that I'm like, oh my goodness, that'd be broken. So I'm going to say like 4 out of 10. Fix what's broken. 2, a white and a black. As additional cost to cast a spell, you may pay X life. Return each artifact and creature card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield. Also could be pretty powerful in the late game here, but It doesn't do a whole lot. I'm going to say that maybe this is a 5 out of 10. Imperious Ink Mage, 1 and a Orzhov. Vigilance, when this creature enters, surveil 2. So it's a 3/3 for 3 with Vigilance, and when it enters, surveil 2. Seems solid. Seems like a 4 to a 5 out of 10. Inkling Mascot, Orzhov, creature Inkling Cat, so 2/2 for 2. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell that targets a creature. Okay, so I'm just going to start saying repartee for that. Gain flying until end of turn and surveil 1. Also solid, 4 out of 10. Killian's Confidence, Orzhov, sorcery. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you may pay variable Orzhov. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. I do like that it draws a card. That part's actually pretty strong. So it's a slight combat trick that draws a card for 3 mana. You can get it back into your hands. That's fine. Could be a 5 out of 10. Moment of Reckoning. 3, 2 white, 2 black sorcery. Choose up to 4. You may choose the same mode more than once. Destroy target non-land permanent. Return target non-land permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is really solid. This is going to let you clear out the other side of the table. It's pretty much a one-sided board wipe. I mean, obviously, they might have more than 4 things, but you're going to be able to target their strongest 4 things. And even if they don't, if they only have 2 or 3 things worth killing, you can get some things back. Very big momentum shift, but of course, it is at a extremely high mana cost. I'm going to say this is maybe a 7 out of 10. Nita Forum Conciliator. I don't know. Conciliator? I don't know. 1 in Orzhov. When a legendary creature, Human Advisor, 2/3. Whenever you cast a spell you don't own, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Pay 2, sack another creature. Exile target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. You may cast it this turn. And mana of any type can be spent. They're just expensive. This sounds like a commander more than it does a limited card. I'm going to say a 3 out of 10. That'd be a really, maybe 4 out of 10, but I don't want to get that as my rare. That's for sure. Render Speechless. 2 in an Orzhov. Target opponent reveals their hands. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature. I do like that this buffs a creature because that's a really expensive way to just get rid of a card from an opponent. I don't love this effect because it only adds to a board. It doesn't create something, or it only adds to something that has to already be on the board. It doesn't create something on the board, so this is horrible if you're behind. I'm going to give it probably a 3 out of 10. Scolding Administrator, Orzhov, 2/2, Dwarf Cleric with Menace. Repartee, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And then when this creature dies, if it had counters on it, put those counters on up to 1 target creature. This is really good. This is straight up just a 2 mana, 2/2 that gets bigger, that then moves its counters if you manage to do that. Yeah, this is great. I'd say 5 out of 10 for this archetype. Silver Quill Charm. Orzhov instant. Choose 1. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Exile target creature with power 2 or less. Each opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. Obviously not going to be using that one. So this is 2 mana, potentially get rid of something that's scary but doesn't have a lot of power, or just buff up your thing. Perfectly fine instant. I do like that it can get rid of something and it has some versatility here. It also could kill. I mean, you'll use this bottom effect if the opponent happens to be below 3 or at 3, right? So it's fine. 4 out of 10, maybe a 5. Silver Quill the Disputant. Elder Dragon, 2 and an Orzhov. 4/4 Flying Vigilance, already great. Each instant and sorcery spell you cast has casualty 1. As you cast it, you may sack a creature with power 1 or greater. If you do, copy the spell. Obviously, this is a very big commander card, but I do think having a 4 mana 4/4 Flying Vigilance that lets you potentially copy your spells. I haven't seen a great way to make like chump enemies that you would want to sack to this, but you never know. You might be casting something huge and it's really worth it. So I think this card's great. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, maybe bordering on 8 out of 10. It's really strong. Snooping Page, 1 and an Orzhov, 2/3, repartee. This creature can't be blocked this turn. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and you lose 1 life. I don't love the lose life on that, but drawing a card is extremely powerful, and it does have a way to get through and the way it gets through is the thing you're wanting to do to trigger other creatures. I think this is pretty solid. It might be bordering on a 5 out of 10. I don't love that the fact that its power and toughness is lower than it should be, so that might bring it down to a 4. Social Snub. 1 in an Orzhov sorcery. When you cast this spell while you control a creature, you may copy this spell. Each player sacks a creature of their choice. Each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. So again, I really need to make sure that when we get to black and white, we see that there are fodder creatures. If we do, then of course this makes a little bit more sense for me. But right now this doesn't seem great. I'd give it like maybe a 3 out of 10. Stirring Honormancer. 2 a white, a variable Orzhov, and then a black. So 2 white and a black, or 2 black and a white. When this creature enters, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of creatures you control. Put 1 of those cards into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. I mean, the graveyard synergy is not bad there because we do have some here in Orzhov. So this is what, a 5 mana 4/5 that draws you a card but can be pretty deep. Not bad at all. I think at least a 4 out of 10, maybe even a 5. Drawing a card is very powerful. It does replace itself. I might bump this up to a 5. Abstract Paint Mage. A blue variable... A blue variable is it, and then a red. At the beginning of your first main phase, add blue-red. Spend this mana only to cast instant and sorcery spells. That's pretty strong. I don't love 3 mana for a 2/2, so I think that that's probably going to bring this down to about a 4 for me. But if you have a lot of instants and sorceries you're trying to cast that need a lot more mana, could be very useful. I absolutely see its use. Color Storm Stallion. 1 and an Is-It creature elemental horse. 3/3 ward 1 with haste. Already solid. Opus. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, I guess that's what Opus is, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, create a token that's a copy of this creature. I love that all of these Opus abilities are, it sounds like, are going to have a thing that if they trigger, and then a better, stronger thing if they trigger from a 5 or more mana spell. That's awesome. This is a really strong card. Potentially could copy itself, not to mention it just gets bigger if you're slinging your small spells. I love that. This is already a good baseline. Probably a 7 out of 10 here. This looks like a lot of fun. Elemental Mascot. 1 in an Is-It Flying Vigilant. 1/4. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this creature gets +1/+0. Big option. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until the end of your turn. Not bad on a base creature, although I don't love the stat line. The Flying Vigilance is nice. It's fine. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Prismari Charm. Here we go. Is-It? Choose 1. Surveil 2, then draw a card. Fine, but not great for 2 mana. Prismari Charm deals 1 damage to each of 1 or 2 targets. Fine, but not very useful. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. A bounce here could be extremely useful, especially if there's a lot of tokens that get created. And I don't mind that this can also draw a card, not to mention it, of course, is an instant or sorcery, so it can trigger Opus effects. So there you go. I think it's fine. I'll give it, excuse me, a 4 out of 10. Okay, so I'm learning magic lore here. Apparently there is an Elder Dragon that heads all of these colleges, I assume. Prismari the Inspiration. 5 and an Is-It legendary creature, Elder Dragon. 7 mana, 7/7 flying with ward, pay 5 life. Already extremely powerful. Instant and sorcery spells you cast have Storm. Holy crap, that's broken. Wow, is that broken? Yeah, okay. That's crazy. When you cast an instant sorcery spell, copy it for each spell cast before it this turn. Wow. Yeah, that's big. That's big. This might be like a 9 out of 10. Like, it doesn't instantly win you the game, but this thing is a problem if it hits the battlefield. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Rapturous Moment. 4 and an Is-It sorcery. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards, but you add 5 mana back. It's actually really solid. I like that a lot. But, well, okay. Hear me out here. I like it a lot, and I understand why it exists, because it's a expensive way to go get 1 card, but it triggers all your Opus effects. However, and you could even then trigger another Opus effect. I really like this. I really like this as a laid-in way to just be like, okay, I don't need lands anymore. Let me just cycle through to get to my actual cards. I like this a lot. I mean, it's a late game play for sure, but I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Resonating Loot. 2 and an Is It. Lands you control off tap. Add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast instant and sorcery spells. Tap, draw a card. Activate only if you have 7 or more cards in your hand. I think that's going to be extremely difficult. And I don't know how useful this part's going to be for 4 mana. I'm going to say this is probably about a 2 out of 10. Maybe even a 1. Probably don't play this. Senar, Unfinished Genius. Or Senar, I don't know. Anyways. Is It. Legendary creature. Senar enters prepared. Tap, create a treasure token. Activate only if you cast an instant sorcery spell this turn. So he can create you treasure tokens as a 0/4. Not bad. And then 5 mana, so 3, a blue, and a red. Search your library for an instant or sorcery card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Cool. Oh, I need to rate him. I mean, it gets you any card you want for 5 mana, but that is pretty expensive. The treasure part is really nice. Now, that's only if you cast an instant or sorcery spell, but it's not a bad card. I'll give it at least a 4 out of 10. Might be bordering on 5. At uncommon, it's not bad. Spectacular Sky Whale. 2 and an Is It. Elemental Whale. 1/4 flying. Opus. Small effect. Creature gets +3/+0 until end of turn. Big effect. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on this creature instead. Obviously, the big effect is huge if you manage to turn this into a 3/7. I'm sorry, a 4/7. Yeah, I mean, but I'll be honest, it's kind of lackluster if you spend 4 mana on it otherwise. So I'll give it probably a 3. I don't want to say we can consistently trigger the big Opus effect. Splatter Technique, obviously something that will trigger the big Opus effect. Choose 1, draw 4 cards, amazing. Splatter Technique deals 4 damage to each creature and planeswalker, also potentially fine. So great card. Love this. 5 mana, draw 4, or do some other stuff, and it triggers all your Opus effects. Beautiful. I'll give it a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. We'll go 6 out of 10. I like that one a lot. Stadium Tidal Mage. 2 and an Is It. Gen Sorcerer. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Very powerful effect. We love looting. Of course, you get to draw first and then choose what you discard, which is significantly more powerful than being forced to discard first. So, love this a lot. Nice option. Powerful creature. Baseline. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Bordering on 5 out of 10. Stress Dream. 3 and an Is It. Instant. This is, of course, another one that will trigger all of your effects. Deals 5 damage to up to 1 target creature. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of those cards into your hand and the other on the bottom of your library. Okay, I like that this kills something. And then you also get to go get a card. Pretty powerful. Solid removal. I go to 5 out of 10. Traumatic Critique. X and an Is It. Instant. Traumatic Critique deals X damage to any target. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. I love that it gets to draw cards. The damage here is pretty low, but I do like that it draws cards. So you obviously have to pay a lot into this for that card draw to be decent, but I do like this card a lot. I think it's solid. 5 out of 10. The rare part is a little sus, but it's fine. Vibrant Outburst. It deals 3 damage to any target. Tap up to 1 target creature. This is just great. This is just incredible. I mean, you have to be in Is It to cast this, but 2 mana, 3 damage, and tap is awesome. I'm gonna give that a 5 bordering on 6 out of 10. I mean, I know it doesn't sound crazy, but you gotta remember this is at 2 mana. This is gonna be very powerful. Something to look out for a lot. Visionary Dance. 7 mana, sorcery. Create 2 3/3 blue and red elemental creature tokens with flying. Pay 2, discard this card. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand, the other into your graveyard. Cool. 7 mana, make 2 flyers that triggers all of your big spell effects. I love it. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Zephi and the Tempests. 5 and an Is It. Human, Bard, Sorcerer, 5/7. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an instant sorcery spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. Very powerful if you can consistently get the card draw going. So you're gonna want to pair this with the big instant sorcery spells that get you card draw. But this is extremely strong. Extremely strong if you can get the payoff. It is a little weak comparatively on the power and toughness, but I still think this is incredible. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Maybe even no. I'm gonna let this break into 7. I'm gonna let somewhere in there 6. I won't finish that. Somewhere between those 2 numbers. Black Loafing Pest. I love this. I need this in my life. 3 mana, 3/4, already solid. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on each pest, bat, insect, snake, and spider you control. Okay, so this is obviously a commander card, but I do think this is pretty strong. They're going to be able to gain life, and it's at least going to put counters on him. Probably other stuff in Golgari if I had to imagine. So this is just really strong. I'm going to give it a between those two numbers again, but I think this one might be closer to 7, just because there's so much upside of a 3 mana 3/4 already, and then it can get bigger. Bogwart Lumeret. So look at this. Is Frog included in this list? Oh no, it's not. Okay, well, rip. Spirit isn't either, is it? No. Anyways, Golgari Spirit Frog 2/2 for 2. Whenever this creature or another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. Great, but it's a great way to trigger the life gain. So there you go. Not bad at all. Solid for what the deck wants to do. 4 out of 10. Maybe even 5. Cauldron of Essence, 1 and a Golgari. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. You can pay 3, tap it, sack a creature, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's a pretty strong effect, but this is a lot of mana to put into that. So because of that, I think this is pretty weak and limited. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 10. Dina's Guidance. 1 and a Golgari. Instant. Search your library for a creature card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand or graveyard. Then shuffle. That's going to be a very strong... This is a very strong tutor effect. Very strong tutor effect. In Limited, I don't love tutor effects because that's a lot of mana to contribute nothing to the board. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. Maybe 4 because it gives you the option of graveyard. You do have to reveal it. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. I don't love this in Limited, but it is a very strong card in general. Essence Knit Scholar. So this is our black and then variable Golgari, then green. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with, whenever this token attacks, you gain 1 life. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, draw a card. I do like the ability to draw a card here. Now, the 3/1 is scary because we've seen some things that do like 1 damage. And you don't want your 3 mana creature dying to something that can do 1 damage, like ping a damage. It's fine. I do love the fact that you can draw a card, but you got to set stuff up for it. It does, okay, it is 3 mana, make a 3/1 and a 1/1 that gains you life and then has potential to draw you cards. So because of all of that, I think I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. I don't love it, but I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 because it does a lot of things I don't love. It does a lot of things that I don't love that much. Grapple with Death. 1 and a Golgari. Destroy target artifact or creature. You gain 1 life. Sure. Great removal. 5 out of 10. Lewin, Exchange Student. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. 2 and a Golgari, legendary creature, elf druid. So 4 mana, 3/4. Enters prepared. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Lewin becomes prepared. Activate only as a sorcery. Create a 1/1. Oh, so then I can do variant Golgari. Create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with whenever this... Okay, I like this card a lot. That you can exile creature cards from your graveyard to re-prepare them to make more pests. But even if this is a 4 mana 3/4 that can be a 5 mana 4/5, yeah, I like it a lot, but I don't love it. I'm gonna say 4 out of 10. Mind Roots. 1 and a Golgari. Target player discards 2 cards. Put up to 1 land card discarded this way onto the battlefield tapped under your control. Okay, so you can use this to ramp you and discard your own cards, or you can target an opponent, and if they happen to discard a land, so you can kind of make them get rid of their non-land cards, which could be pretty useful. I don't mind this. I like this a good bit. I'll say this is a 4 out of 10 as well. Old Growth Educator. 2 and a Golgari, Treefolk Druid. Vigilance and Reach 4/4, already solid. When this creature enters, put up 2 +1/+1 counters on it if you gained life this turn. Incredible, man. If this enters as a 4 mana 6/6 Vigilance Reach, holy crap. And it's already solid. Now, of course, you cannot get its infusion on another turn, so you just have to hope that it works out that way. But that is a solid card. 5 out of 10 at the least. Pest Mascot. 1 and a Golgari, Pest Ape. Is that really even an ape? I don't know. 3 mana, 2/3 with trample. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+. Oh, whenever you gain life, put a +1/+ counter on this creature. Very quickly becomes a 3/4 or bigger. I like this a lot as well. 5 out of 10. Guys, I think Golgari might be the color to go. I'm just putting this out there. If you're going to pre-release and you get to choose, I think Golgari is the color to go. Professor Delian fell. 2 and a Golgari, legendary planeswalker Delian. Let's see, +2, gain 3 life. That's totally fine. 0, draw a card and lose 1 life. Also totally fine. -3, destroy target creature. Also great. And -6, you get an emblem with whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Holy crap. Holy crap. That is very strong. This thing at least enters, destroys something, gains you some life, and probably draws you a card. That is insane. This is a very, very strong card. 9 out of 10, maybe even bordering on 10 out of 10 for its cost. This thing's huge. This thing is huge. Root Manipulation, 3 and a Golgari. Until end of turn, creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain menace. And whenever this creature attacks, you gain 1 life. Pretty good to get all of your pest boys up. But it's pretty expensive too for just a +2/+2 and menace. So that brings it down a little bit for me. It's probably between a 3 and a 4. Teacher's Pest. I love that. Golgari Skeleton Pest, 1/1 menace. Whenever this creature attacks, you gain 1 life. Return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped for a Golgari. I like that a lot too because it works well for your sack effects. If you need sacrifice effects, so I will say this is probably at least a 4 out of 10. Might even be a 5 out of 10. It is pretty expensive for just a 1/1, but it can get you the, whenever it attacks, you gain a life with the menace. Could be a nice little coupling. It's probably more like a 4. Vicious Rivalry. 2 and a Golgari has an additional cost to cast the spell, pay X life. Destroy all artifacts and creatures with mana value X or less. Okay, so this is a board wipe that you've got to pay some life into. Board wipes in general are pretty powerful, especially if you have graveyard synergies. But this could cost you like 5 life on top of this, which I do think brings it down. So it's probably between a 3 and a 4, which is not great when it comes to a rare. Witherbloom Charm. Golgari, instant, choose 1, sack a permanent. If you do, draw 2 cards. Not bad with all the pests we've already seen. Gain 5 life, also totally solid because that might be gain 5 life, buff something else, make all of those things. Destroy target non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. I love this one. I think this one's very solid. 5 out of 10 card. Here we go. Oh, I love that there's 5 Elder Dragons in this set. I want them all. I like dragons too much. Witherbloom the Balancer is an 8 mana 5/5. That being said, he does get cheaper affinity for creatures. So if you have 2 or 3 creatures out there, he's down to the cost he should be. Flying Death Touch. Instant and sorcery spells you cast have affinity for creatures. That's pretty powerful. There were quite a few instants and sorceries in here. Now, this spell costs 1 generic less to cast. Yeah, so it will not get rid of like the colored cost, but it can get rid of like this part of the cost. So keep that in mind. Still pretty solid. 7 out of 10, maybe even 8. Like him a lot. All right, on to Boros. Arc of Hunger. 2 and a Boros artifact. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, this artifact deals 1 damage to each opponent. You gain 1 life. Tap it, mill a card. You may play that card this turn. Okay, this kind of gives you an additional card draw, so I think it's a little bit better than the other artifacts, but it's not a lot better than the other artifacts, so I'm still going to give it like a 3. Maybe a 4. Maybe. Aziza, Mage Tower Captain. Boros, Gen, Sorcerer, 2/2 for 2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may tap 3 untapped creatures you control. If you do, copy that spell. You may choose new targets. I mean, you got to have a lot of untapped creatures to copy it, but there could be some big instances where you want to. I like that it's on board, 2 mana, 2/2, so... I mean, it's a rare, but I'll give it at least a 5 out of 10. Borrowed Knowledge, 2 and a Boros. Choose 1. Discard your hand, then draw cards equal to the number of cards in target opponent's hands. That could be very powerful. Discard your hand, then draw cards equal to the number of cards discarded this way. Also pretty strong. It is 4 mana, and you have to discard your hand, but you could potentially be like on a major upside. This could be the last card in your hand, and you draw like 3 or 4, which would be extremely powerful. It's fine. 4 out of 10. Colossus of the Blood Age, 4 and a Boros construct, 6/6 for 6. When this creature enters, it deals 3 damage to each opponent, and you gain 3 life. When it dies, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards, plus 1. This is extremely strong. Body, on par, doing damage, gaining life, and looting you cards. I love it. I mean, it's rummaging cards, but still, I love it. This thing's really solid. 5 out of 10, maybe even bordering on a 6. Okay, that might be giving it much, but 5 out of 10 for sure. Hardened Academic. This is just a straight Boros 2/1 cleric flying with haste. Already solid. Discard a card. It gains lifelink until end of turn. Not bad, but how many cards are we going to have to discard? Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Not used to Boros doing graveyard synergy, so that's really interesting. But hey. Sorry. We get some agua. I've been talking for a while. There we go. I don't know. 4 out of 10? 5 out of 10? Carol History Buff. Boros, Vampire Cleric, 2/3. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, Carol becomes prepared. Already solid. 2 mana, 2/3. And then you can cast Pack-a-Punch. 1 and a Boros, mill a card, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains trample until end of turn. Not bad. I mean, especially because you want cards in the graveyard in this deck. Like, they've shown us that, so certainly not bad. 5 out of 10. I like that it's above par, too. Yeah. Somewhere between 4 and 5. Lorehold, Charm, Boros, choose one. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token artifact of their choice. Non-token artifacts. Don't imagine that's coming up. Return target artifact or creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Could be good for this deck. Creature control get +1/+1 and gain trample until end of turn. Also could be solid. It's fine. It's nothing crazy. 4 out of 10. Lorehold the Historian. 3 and a Boros Elder Dragon. So 5 mana, 5/5 flying, haste. Already very solid. Each instant sorcery card in your hand has Miracle 2. You may cast a card for its miracle cost when you draw it. If it's the first card you drew this turn, I mean, that's fine. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a... I see how that works with Miracle. Because that's a new turn. That's a new turn, and if it's an instant, you cast that sucker for 2. Yeah, that's very powerful. That's very powerful. I also love 5 mana, 5/5 flying haste. Just comes in and smacks. That might even kill, depending on how the game's been going. So, yeah, this is a really solid card. 8 out of 10, maybe even better. Molten Note. X and a Boros sorcery. It deals damage to target creature equal to the amount of mana spent to cast this spell. I love that the X is included in that. And then you untap all creatures you control. Love that too. And you can flashback. This may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost. And you know it's going to do 8 damage to target creature, because that's what it costs. Not bad removal spell. I like this a lot. In terms of damage. Like if this was deal X damage like the last one was in Golgari, But the fact that this is deal damage equal to the mana spent, I like that a lot more. I'm going to say 6 out of 10. Practice Scrollsmith. This is our variable one. So red, variable Boros, and then white. First strike. So 3 mana, 3/2 with first strike. When it enters, exile target non-creature, non-land card from your graveyard. Until the end of your next turn, you may cast that card. I like that. And it's next turn, so you can use this to get something back. Yeah, 5 out of 10. Pursue the Past. Boros, sorcery, you gain 2 life. You may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. And then you can flashback. Sure. I don't see why that's a bad thing either. 4 out of 10. Spirit Mascot. This is Boros, Spirit Ox, 2/2. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter. So it has potential to get bigger, but it is on par. 4 out of 10. Startled Relic Sloth. 2 and a Boros Sloth Beast. 4 mana, 4/4 trample. Lifelink. Already love that. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Sure, that just gets you all of your leave graveyard abilities. So this thing's an enabler, a good body, lifelink, trample. I love it. 5 out of 10, bordering on 6. Love this guy. Suspend Aggression. 1 on a Boros, exile target, non-land permanent. The top card of your library for each of those cards. Its owner may play it until the end of their next turn. Okay, so we make them have to recast something and we get... Okay, sure. I mean, I don't know how great that is. I'm trying to think. 4 out of 10. Wilt in the Heat. 2 and a Boros instant. This spell costs 2 less to cast if one or more cards left your graveyard this turn. Deals 5 damage to target creature. Solid. If that creature would die, exile it instead. I love this even at 4 mana, so if you happen to cast this for 2 mana, even better. Even better. 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, maybe even removal. And we're on to Simic. Here we go. Applied Geometry. This is gonna be my school. This is gonna be my school, even though I just told you that I think Golgari is probably the stronger one. Create a token that's a copy of target non-aura permanent you control, except it's a 0/0 fractal creature in addition to its other types, and you put 6 +1/+1 counters on it. I'm sorry, this is a 4 mana make a 6/6? Copy of something else? 4 mana make a 6/6 copy of something else? Holy crap. 7 out of 10. I mean, it is a rare. Berta Wise Extrapolator. There we go. 4 mana, 2 and a Simic, 1/4. Whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana you spent is greater than this creature's power or toughness, put a +1. Okay, great. So you can just constantly make this bigger. So it's going to become a 2/5, then it's going to become a 3/6. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on Berta, add 1 mana of any color, pay X, tap, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token, and put X +1/+1 counters on it. I love that this can just make you creatures. This can just make you creatures. Any extra mana? Oh man, I don't have anything to do with this 2 extra mana. 2/2. Don't have anything to do with this 1 extra mana. 1/1. Like, I love that. This card's great. I mean, this part's not great, but it has a lot of potential. I think that part does bring it down for me and might make it land around like a 6. Cuboid Colony. Guys, I'm already obsessed. I want Simic so badly. Oh, I think Golgari was stronger, but I might be wrong. All right, look at this. Flash, flying, trample. And then it has increment whenever you cast a spell if the amount of mana, which it definitely is. So this is going to be a flash, flying, trample, 2/2, and then maybe it becomes a flying, trample, 3/3. I love that. I love this card, man. 5 out of 10. Embrace the Paradox. 5 mana, so 3 and a Simic. Instant. Draw 3 cards. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Great. 5 mana, draw 3, and ramp. Absolutely incredible at 5 mana. 5 out of 10, maybe even a 6. 5 out of 10. At common, though. Fractal Mascot. 4 and a Simic. So 6 mana, 6/6 Elk. When this creature enters, tap target creature an opponent controls. Put a stun counter on it. Totally fine effect. 4 out of 10. Fractal Tinder. 3 and a Simic. Ward 2. It's a 3/3 for 5, but it can get bigger. At the beginning of each instep, if you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Oh, that's very powerful if this triggers even once. Yeah, I'm going to say this is probably a 6 out of 10. I'm going to say there's a lot of potential here. You got to keep it around, but the Ward 2 exists to keep it around. So you're making them pay what you paid to remove this. And then if they don't, it turns into a 4/4 and you get a 3/3 with the potential to do that again if you can cast something with 5 mana, which you definitely can in Simic. Yeah, 6 out of 10. Geometers, probably geometers. It kind of looked like a meteor, though. Arthropod. This is a Simic Fractal Crab. 1/4. Already fine for 2. Whenever you cast a spell with X and its mana cost, look at the top X cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom. I mean, sure. This is fine. I mean, you're probably not casting a lot of things with X and their mana cost, but the reality is that a 2 mana 1/4 is already fine. And if you manage to do that, great. 5 out of 10. Growth Curve, Simic, Sorcery, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, then double the number of +1/+1 counters on that creature. Extremely powerful with the different fractal creatures, so I love this one a lot. 2 mana at sorcery speed isn't as great, but hey, I like it. 5 out of 10. Mind into Matter. X and a Simic Sorcery, draw X cards, then you may put a permanent card with mana value X or less from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Great. This is just wonderful. I'm loving this. I'm loving everything that I'm seeing here, man. Drawing cards, playing things for free. I just want a Simic. I love Simic. Please let me play Simic. Oh my God. All right. This is so good. It just feels like this is so much more powerful than everything else. Golgari was pretty strong. I think that could match this, but like, man, green. Is green just going to be the powerhouse of this set? Don't tell Ashley that. She'll actually want to play. Because she has not been feeling Magic, but hey, maybe it takes a set where green's the powerhouse, you know what I mean? Extra less, yeah. No, this is great. This is solid. 7 out of 10. Maybe even higher. Honestly, maybe even higher. Might be 8 out of 10. This thing is really good. I mean, think about it, like 5. So this is like 7 mana, draw 5, play something for 5 for free. Insane. Paradox Surveyor. A green variable Simic, and then blue 3 mana 3/3 with reach. When it enters, look at the top 5 cards of your library, reveal a land card or a card with X mana cost from among them, put it into your hand. That's great. That's great. That's great. It's solid. I'd say 4 out of 10, maybe even a 5 out of 10. Proctor's Gaze, 2 and a Simic, instant, return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Okay. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield. Okay, so it does ramp you. That brought it up to a 4. I wasn't loving this card, but probably brought it up to a 4. Terrafractal. Guys. The fire is getting reignited. I'm so excited for this. X and a Simic, creature, dinosaur, fractal, flying. It enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, and when it enters, you gain 2 life. I mean, it is below, but the flying part's really nice, and then it can synergize with like that double +1/+1 counter card, although I think that one was a rare. Solid card, 4 out of 10, maybe even 3, although the flying probably bumps up to 4. Oh, we're coming up on the Elder Dragon. Quandrix Charm. Choose 1. Counter target spell unless its control pays 2. Solid. Destroy target enchantment. Target creature has base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. Very solid on the 0/0s. The counter spell is probably the strongest part of this. This one's not crazy. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Quandrix the Proof. Elder Dragon. 4 and a Simic 6/6 flying trample cascade. When you cast this spell, extra cards on the top. Yep. Okay, cool. Instant sorcery spells you cast from your hand have Cascade. Oh, my lord. That might be a 10 out of 10. That might be a 10 out of 10. 6 mana, flying, trample, cast another thing that's 6 or less, and every instant sorcery spell you cast from your hand cast something cheaper than it. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's crazy, man. Tam, Observant, Sync, which I'm going to give it a 10. 2 and a Simic 4/3 landfall becomes prepared. Okay, so it doesn't enter prepared. So there's a 4 mana 4/3, and unless you can landfall trigger it, it's just a 4 mana 4/3. Then you get the Deep Sight, pay a Simic, draw a card, and gain 1 life. That's fine, but nothing crazy. I do like drawing a card, so that might bump it up to a 4, but this is bordering 3. I don't love this card. Okay, on to the colorless cards. You know these ones are long because of the fact that there's so many multicolored and colorless cards. Biblioplex Tomekeeper, 4 mana 3/4. When it enters, choose 1. Target creature becomes prepared or target creature becomes unprepared. I love that you can unprepare somebody. That's awesome. I want to give this card a high rating just because that's a really cool mechanic. It's probably not crazy though. I'm going to give it a 3. Maybe a 4. Diary of Dreams, 2 mana book. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a page counter on this artifact. Pay 5, tap it, draw a card. It costs 1 less to activate for each page counter. So instant and sorceries benefit a lot from this, but that's a lot of setup. Typically, this isn't great. I'm going to give that a 3 out of 10. Mage Tower Referee, 2 mana construct. Whenever you cast a 2 mana 2/1. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Has the potential to grow, but nothing crazy. I'll give it a 3 out of 10. Page Loose Leaf. That's cute. 2 mana 0/2 construct. Tap to add a colorless. It has Grandeur. Discard another card named Page Loose Leaf. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an instant sorcery card. Put that card into your hand. The rest on the bottom. I mean, not bad, but not great. The ramp is fine, but it doesn't help you in terms of your colors, so could be difficult because you're really wanting to get to your 2 colors quickly. Not the end of the world in Simic, but nothing crazy. Still a 3 out of 10. Maybe 4. Potioner's Trove, 3 mana artifact, add 1 mana of any color, better. Tap, you gain 2 life, activate only if you cast an instant. I mean, this one's also pretty, I mean, 3 mana to ramp is fine, but it's not like crazy. Probably a 3. This one might be closer to a 4. Rancorous Archaic, Avatar, 5 mana, 2/2 trample, reach, converge, enters with a +1/+1 counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. Okay, so this thing could be pretty big. It's probably entering as a 4/4 trample reach, but it might be a 5/5 trample reach. That's about on par. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Strixhaven Sky Coach, 3 mana artifact vehicle, 3/2 flying. Whenever it enters, search your library for a basic land card, put it into your hand. Solid. And then crew. I do like that this gets a land, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Sundering Archaic, 6 mana Avatar 3/3 Converge, enters exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to the number of colors. Okay, fine. 2 mana, put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. It's fine. Nothing too crazy here though. It's like, I like that we're seeing these archaics, these avatars. It's almost like an Eldrazi type thing. I wonder if we're going to have like crazy powerful ones. I'm seeing a 10 mana one coming up, but I mean, solid, but nothing crazy. 4 out of 10. Yeah, this one's a mythic. The Dawning Archaic, 10 mana avatar, 7/7. Costs 1 less to cast for each instant sorcery spell in your graveyard. Okay, fine. So maybe an 8 mana 7/7, 7 mana 7/7. Reach. Whenever it attacks, you may cast target instant sorcery card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Pretty solid. Pretty solid in most of the decks. All of the decks like different instants and sorceries, which makes sense because it's a spellcasting wizard school set. I love the theme. I love that they're going for it. This thing's really solid. 8 out of 10. Maybe even a 9. Together as one. 6 mana sorcery. Converge. Target player draws X cards. Together as one deals X damage to any target. You gain X life, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast this. Really only strong if you can get this to be at least 3, right? Yeah. Really only strong if this is at least 3. Very strong if it's more than 3. 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Transcendent Archaic, 7 mana, 6/6 Vigilance. Converge. When it enters, you may draw X cards, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast this spell. If you draw one or more cards this way, you do have to discard 2 cards. That part's not great. It's probably like draw 2, discard 2. Maybe draw 3, discard 2. 6/6 Vigilance for 7. It's fine. 4 out of 10. Oh, and we're there. We're done. We did it. Hey, look at that. Okay, so that's all the multicolored and colorless cards. That's a lot of them, but all things considered, you know, typically we see full sets like this having 10 archetypes. I think having 2 archetypes is going to be a little, or not 2, having 5 archetypes, so half as many, is going to be a little difficult for a lot of people. I think it's going to be nice because they are getting like themed pre-release decks, and when you do draft, like people are going to know the archetypes a little faster and be able to kind of synergize a little bit faster. I do think the colors that are shared are going to be really strong. So like blue is shared, green is shared. Is that it? And black is shared. So I think blue, green, and black are going to be extremely powerful because they are shared. And so I think that's probably going to be where most people land if they're able to. And so anything in that area is probably by far the strongest. But I do like that there are all these avatars and converge abilities that are like, hey, what if we just kind of went into everything because there's not as many different archetypes? I think it's going to be really fun. I'm excited to see what the individual colors bring. And it sounds like we're going to be attending this pre-release, which will be really nice. We didn't attend the last one. We weren't a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so we wanted to vote with our wallet and choose not to go. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. This has definitely been one step in the right direction for Magic, and we'll see if it can keep on walking in that direction. So let us know what you think down in the comments below. We love and appreciate each and every one of you for making Rollsicle what it is. We would not be here without you. We are currently at 409, I think it is, subscribers. So thank you guys for all the love and support. I can't even fathom the fact that our channel has made it that far. So thank you guys for being so loving and caring and awesome. And we want to know what you think. Are you excited for this set? Are you not excited for this set? Is Magic ruined for you? Is this going to save Magic for you? Let us know down in the comments below. We'll see you guys in whatever comes next. But until then, may those rolls be ever in your favor. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye, y'all.